Craven, you lying son of a bitch. What's going on, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. The People Under the Stairs was directed by Wes Craven and released in 1991. Rest in peace to Wes Craven. And this is one that I obviously have never seen before, but it's been on my list for quite some time. I've always wanted to make the effort to find this film and finally get down to it, but with my to-be watch list to be, miles and miles high, it took a while, but finally I decided to get down to it and give it a shot. And this is a strange one. It kind of was what I was expecting, but it kind of wasn't what I was expecting at the same time, if that makes any sense. What we have going on here, basically, is we have this little kid who basically his nickname is Fool, and he lives in the projects, and his mother is sick. And one guy that he knows, I don't exactly know the relationship of this guy, but this guy's name is Leroy. And Leroy is played by Ving Rhames. I had no idea that Ving Rhames was actually in this film until I put it on. I love Ving Rhames, so I really liked seeing him here. He's a little bit younger in this film. This is 1991. But it was cool seeing him, and he plays this I guess robber kind of guy. He essentially robs places, and he finds this home that is supposed to be sitting on a loot of gold coins, which sounds kind of cheesy, doesn't it? You would think it would be like some kind of check or some kind of safe hiding a bunch of money, but no, there's gold coins in this house apparently. And he has a relationship with this little kid Fool, but I don't think it's a father, maybe a father figure, but I think they're just in the same neighborhood kind of thing, so they know each other that way. And he brings this kid along to go rob this house with this other guy named Spencer. And basically in this home live the landlords of almost everybody in these projects. This couple lives in this giant ass home, and they rent to people, and then basically when the people can't pay rent, they overtake the homes, and then they destroy the homes and build bigger homes, and eventually they're just a couple of greedy bastards at the end of the day. So this guy, played by Ving Rhames, Leroy, and this guy named Spencer, and then this kid named Fool, go to try and get the gold in this house. And when they get to the house, inside the house, this mansion is not only big, but it's holding like a second house within it. Pretty much within all the walls you can like walk through, and there's booby traps in this thing. It's like a little kid's fantasy when they think of like secret compartments and secret traps in a house. It reminded me when I was a kid and I was wondering if I could ever find like a secret passageway into my house. But this house is loaded with them. And this couple that lives there, they have this daughter. It's explained later. It's not a daughter. She's just kidnapped. But this little girl named Alice, who they basically hold hostage in the home. She's never allowed to leave. This family is always talking about, burning in hell. I can't necessarily, other than them threatening everybody to burn in hell, they're not necessarily religious, but they're very Carrie-like, especially with this little girl. Her performance is tremendous. She really acts like Carrie, but she also reminds me a lot of Nell from the Last Exorcism, for anybody who's seen that film. She, like facial features and everything, she very much looks and acts like Nell from that movie. And great performance from her. When these three guys, including the little kid Fool, infiltrate this house, they start to become attacked by these crazy folk, and it just goes insane because people are discovered under the stairs or behind the walls, spoiler alert, and it turns into this plot where these people are like within the walls and they're being fed, and they're very much like zombified. It's very, very strange. I don't know how this couple got away for so long without any authorities realizing that, you know, they're hiding people in their walls kind of thing. But they're finally discovered for the first time by Leroy and Fool somehow. Nobody discovered them for decades, but now all of a sudden they are. Regardless, it's one of those films you do have to suspend your disbelief for certain things, but it's a fun treat. It's almost like it's a fun ride kind of a movie. Funny enough, if you take away all the cussing in this movie and some of the violence, this could straight up be, you know, a PG family movie. It kind of has those goofy tropes that can really satisfy like a younger audience, kind of like a Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I was watching this film and a few times I was thinking to myself, I would really like to see a version of this idea directed by Tim Burton. Can you imagine Tim Burton directing a film about a house that has like walls within it and secret compartments and secret traps? I mean, there's scenes where somebody's climbing the stairs and then somebody, like one of the guy in the house, pulls a lever and the stairs flatten themselves, turning into a ramp, so the kid just slides right back down. That is so Goosebumps slash Tim Burton style. Regardless, it's kind of too goofy for its own good at times, especially because of the themes that they're going for. Like, things get really sadistic when it comes to the couple who own the house. And I say they're a couple, but it's revealed that their relationship is a little bit more strange than you think it was going to be at the beginning, especially involving the little girl Alice and everything. When you start to get deeper into the history of them and where these people under the stairs came from, the reveals are a little bit twisted, to say the least. I mean, at one point, the man who the woman calls daddy all the time chases Fool all around the walls, and also this other little kid who's been stuck in the walls for years, from our guess, named Roach. This guy named Daddy is running around with a shotgun, trying to shoot the walls, trying to get these two kids within the walls, dressed in a gimp suit from head to toe. Why a gimp suit? I mean, like, it's not that protective from bullets, and is it just to look cool? I mean, you want to go shoot down these kids looking like you just came out of a homosexual techno club at 3 a.m.? Kind of strange. Kind of a strange wardrobe to choose, but... and his wife, who, by the end of the movie, I don't even know if it's his wife or not, like, what the dynamic is there, but she is nuts. She really, really emphasizes the over-the-top, crazy, I guess, religious woman, very in vein of Carrie's mother from the Carrie film. But it plays out like a cat and mouse throughout this whole film, like inside the house and everything. And there's a lot of sadistic moments, but there's a lot of goofy moments at the same time, especially the end. It just goes very 90s, almost comedy mode. And the money is found, and then by the end of the film, it's just raining money all over the projects and the ghetto, and everybody's like grabbing for the money. And then you have one of the guys that were hidden under the stairs, and he's completely zombified. You can tell he's like gray makeup, and he has long hair. He looks straight out of Day of the Dead, and he's just walking around like it's his first time outside, because he hasn't been outside like ever. Because the plot kind of goes where this couple was snatching kids and keeping them locked away under the stairs or within the walls, so nobody would ever find them, kind of thing. So this guy's just walking around in a crowd, and he looks like half dead, and he's just like smiling because it's the first time he's seen the sky and everything. It's just weird like that. It's a weird film, and it kind of has a lot of themes going on at the same time, but it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. It's a fun film that you don't necessarily have to turn your brain off, but it hits a few nostalgic moments, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this film in some way, shape, or form, kind of thing. So it was fun, to say the least. It wasn't great. Like it certainly is not my favorite Wes Craven film. I mean, that goes to A Nightmare on Elm Street. There's no question about that. But even with the people under the stairs, I will mention too, I found a little bit of The Hills Have Eyes vibes with them. The way they looked and the way they acted and the way the camera would move and the way the camera would shoot the scenes when you first see the people under the stairs, when Roach specifically will run up and like grab Leroy around the neck and they'll start wrestling, and the music in the background, it definitely borrowed a little bit from Wes Craven's previous film, The Hills Have Eyes, that I noticed. So you can see his touches in this film, but you can also see his like later 90s work in this film, where I think he had his glory when it came to the mid and early 80s, especially with A Nightmare on Elm Street, my second favorite horror film of all time. So, but People Under the Stairs was an enjoyable watch, and I had a good time with it, and it makes for a goofy and tense good time. So I'm glad I had it. I'm glad I chose it for day 9. It was a lot of fun. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. Stay tuned for tomorrow's 31 Days of Horror, day 10. And we get a little creepy on that one, but serious creepy. Just a little heads up, you could say. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.